Well, I've come across a book that was going to be thrown out by a friend of mine. It's called The Winged Pharaoh, Joan Grant. And I think it was first published in 1927. See if I can find it. First published October 1937. So old, and it's, well, what do you think of this? This was the priests, well, perhaps it was generic, some went to the temple and learnt how, in their several ways, to bring back true knowledge to earth, or to charge sick bodies with new life. When the time came, these would drive out the false priests, so that once again the people could go to the temples and hear that which was they needed for their growth of their spirit from the lips of one who could say to them, quotes, "I of my own knowledge tell thee that this is truth." Others, well, I'll abbreviate, there to protect the people. They shall be true warriors, to whom a wounded enemy is a friend. And to the women of their enemy they shall give comfort and protection. And when they go to a new country, it shall be to build, not to destroy, to free, and not to chain, to give peace and not fear, to give light unto their darkness. It crosses my mind America in effect did this with its enemies, didn't it? And the Allies after the Second World War. Not quite so well in the First World War, but still. And I'm on page 126 now. And there shall be those who shall administer the land. They shall see that the balances of the marketplaces are true, so that each woman or child or husbandman who brings the work of their hands in change for another's shall share contentment with the other. They shall see that water runs freely to each garden, and that none obstructs its flow of life. They shall teach the people how best to tend their fields, so that the stalks of grain sway with the weight of the ear. They shall see that none works his servant, be he man or animal, beyond his strength. They shall see that no animal suffers from its master, unless he too receives an equal share of pain. They shall see that no child fears an upraised hand, or cries in hunger. And they shall see that the scribes record with truth that which they are told. They shall see that the corn in the granaries falls not below 10 cubits height, so that the people walk not in fear of famine. They shall see that if a lesser man cannot adjust a wrong, the path to Pharaoh be not obstructed. And they shall be wise and impartial in their works, so that the people in the land may say, "See, the scales in the marketplaces and in the places of judgment are as true as the great scales of Tahuti." Okay, just found some of those bits there just lovely. Let me pause a sec. This was interesting on page 160. Remember always that in anything you may do, if in the truest weighing of your heart you find there is no shame, then that action cannot be unworthy, and so for you must be right. At the end of the journey, for all of us, must come a time when we look back over all our lives and see all that has helped us on our way and all that has retarded it. But every action of which we can say in true sincerity, quotes, that I did, not for myself, but because I loved another better, must be a step along the true path. Something up here. What he was saying, if a woman steals bread to feed her children, she can hardly be in the wrong if there was no other way of doing it. And somewhere or other the same is applied to the principle of adultery, that if it's a case of starvation, I mean, for goodness sake. This is a good one on page 165. Think not of the future, except to mould it by the present in which you live, and sow the seed that you will wish to reap. Saying that few prophecies you see come true, because accidents, unforeseen things do happen, and people deliberately do something different to their future. Things change, you see. Don't just sit back and assume that because it's been prophesied you'll be prosperous. You will be. You still need to do that which is necessary. Think not of the future except to mould it by the present in which you live. Sow the seed that you will wish to reap. There's another one here on 141. It says, so pray to Ta, which has God, to make you wise in words, so truth may walk on earth, serenely crowned. This was choose your words to give honour to the importance and the gravity of the truth that you are giving. So I but string my words upon the thread of gratitude for the loveliness of earth. And then she gives examples, I think, for the slumberous murmuration of the sea, the patient pattern of an ancient vine, the muted gold of sunlight through a mist, the mountains still impatient for the sky, into a necklace carven of my thoughts, unwarmed by the touch of her that I made it for. It's really an enchanting book. Try this bit, I've taken the middle out of it, but the goddess of truth. For her you should have spun for her fine linen robes, so that her radiance could shine forth on men as light shines through an alabaster lamp. Wow. Well, it's ostensibly a story. It's nearly 400 pages long. It gives astonishing detail at times of ancient Egypt. I would put it, I'm not sure, she probably tells you somewhere in it, but I'd have put it 1500 BC. The sort of time close to Akhenaten, but I really don't know. I'm impressed by the content again, I think it's telling me, look, it's a story. It enshrines what she values. And what she values is pretty close to what you value, Marshall, and what many people value. And it's lovely to see that in the story she's free to communicate what she values. And wow, I'm impressed. I've only read, not read a quarter of the book, but something like that. I've stopped for especially some hours today just to dwell with the book. Look, it's back to my thing. You need to find your ministry, your channel that is there as a fund that people may choose and be blessed with. A review of, if you like, your values that will be so similar to their own, and encourage them in their way, which will be uniquely different to yours, of course. But you'll be a blessing. We are sent, you see. We are sent to encourage people in the understanding of the love of God. And more than just the understanding, the reality of the love of God for them. And you have your part to play in the people that God leads you to and leads to you. I passed someone sitting on a bench around the lake today, Hamilton here. She was a bit small and crunched up and nodding heavily forward, bending forward. She's sitting on a park bench, but bending forward. I thought she could. It reminds me of the way some people meditate. Well, almost it reminds me of the way Jewish people at the wall, they'll bang their head against the wall. They keep lurching forward. I don't mean bang their head, but you know what I mean, touch that wall with the head. And I walked on and thought, I can't. It could be just an oddie, it could be fearful, frightening sort of person who gets frightened. I don't. And I got, not 100 yards further on and thought, no, you find out, Marshall. You go and find out. So I approached her cautiously from a distance, and I stayed a distance in case, she was worried about me. So I was a good 15 feet away, say, 20 feet, and said, you okay, love? Or are you okay? Something like that. She said, yes, and she looked at this young woman, could have been Iranian, could have been Iraqi, I don't know. And she had a headscarf on, and she told me later she was Muslim, So I was praying. I said, oh, I wondered, I did see you nodding forward. She said, yes. And of course, I left her my card so that she can check out these recordings on YouTube, which is my only way of advertising. I don't do anything else. It's just the people God leads me to or leads to me. If someone talks to me, takes the initiative, I give them a card. I respond and respond to whatever the initiative is. They'd say hello or smile. I talked to another couple with their border collie dog, and gave them a card. We had a good chat about my border collie that lived to 17 years of age. And I left them with a card so that they could, and said, follow me on YouTube. Oh, thank you. They always say thank you, just to be polite, of course, perhaps. But that's the spontaneous reaction. If you don't take opportunities as they come, you miss them. You'll miss the blessing. There'll be a few that are not opportunities, and okay, not to worry, back off fast. Don't be a problem to people, of course. Don't want to know? What? Okay, get a negative response, just hi, and pass on. If you never take risks, you never gain anything. That's almost the foundation truth of the business world. There are always some risks because there's always uncertainty. I didn't know how this lady would respond. Didn't know who or what or anything about her. Couldn't even see her face. And yet it was a lovely time. She was praying. I said, bless you, love. She probably pretty clear I'm not Muslim. But I'm totally accepting, of course, of, how lovely, it's someone who's prays to God. And she knows that, and she thinks, well, whatever he is, he's responding well. Bless her. And I don't want to impose on her religion. I didn't ask her anything about it or say what mine was. Nothing. I only spoke for a minute or two. But good encounter. You are sent. You're in a lift with someone. Say, isn't it lovely day? Or, hope this lift works all right. Well, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how simple the comment is. If they want to talk, then they will take hold of it and respond. If they don't, yeah. And that's the end of the matter. And they rarely do. People come back good. It's a pretty civilized society, thank goodness. And you never know when you're the right person at the right time to bless, even rescue someone who's feeling really down, and suddenly someone cares in the world. You're a blessing wherever you go, because the love of God is in you, and He works through you wonderfully. Thank you, Dad.